Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where we go live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Hey, everybody. My name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. I am your host, and we are with, Rico. Can you see him? Our co-host. Every Sunday morning, he joins us for Coffee with the Critters. And this morning, hey, Eva, this morning we have a couple extra co-hosts with us. For those of you that are new, let me first introduce myself. Hey, Chris. Hey, Daphne. Hey, Bobby. Hey, everybody. I love seeing everybody, especially the loyal people that follow this this live stream that we've been doing every morning for 3 years, over 3 years now. For those of you that are new, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We are an international educational center where we teach people across the world about working, living, loving, learning, that's Snow, with animals using applied behavior analysis and positive reinforcement. And we do that through our live stream services. Morning, Florian. Hello. We do that through our live streaming services, and you can find out more about those on our website, which is theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Good morning, everybody. Hey, so I am super excited to, this is going to be Sam's first live stream on Coffee with the Critters. So I know a lot of people that I've been posting. I try to post something daily about him. Sam is our blind blue-fronted Amazon that's been with us just a little over a week, making amazing strides. I don't know if you can hear him. He's starting to vocalize now that I'm talking. He's right next to me. We have Sam's going to be joining us today. Snow, our deaf and blind border collie. Levi, our deaf bulldog. So yeah, I wanted to have this episode for several different reasons, and I want to take a lot of your questions as well. Help me think of some things that I just may not be thinking about if you want to bring in a special needs animal, adopt one. All three of ours are adopted. Sam is 23 years old. I think he's a lot older than that. I really do. He just acts like it. And I've been up since 2:30 this morning because I couldn't stay off my phone and stay off my camera watching him because I want to watch how he sleeps, what he does at night since he's had his eyes removed. What do you think, Sam? What do you think, Sam? Yeah, so Sam is in his cage. And we moved him in here to, I can't call it the bird room anymore because it occupies so much more than birds. We moved him into the animal center, or the animal room yesterday. Thanks, Rock. Just because it was time. You know, when we first introduce a lot of animals, we introduce them in the training room. We watch what they do. How do they react to the animal? The animal sounds here in the center. Thanks, Rocky. I guarantee you this episode is not going to be long enough because I have so much I want to talk about. What's she doing, huh? Hi, Rocky. So Snow is right at my feet. She's searching, rock and roll. She's searching for information. So I'm going to give it to her. Okay, so Melissa says, question for later, how do you have a rock solid recall? Oh, I'm sorry. That was me incorporating rock solid. How do you have a solid recall every time for a deaf dog? We'll talk about that, Melissa. And if I forget, please bring this question up again. Tickle, tickle, tickle. I may have to put Snow in a crate until it's time for us to work with her. Because you'll see Snow is our deaf and blind dog. This is a lot of what she does if you don't interact with her and give her information. So we train Snow with touch. lesson. She can't hear, she can't hear, and she can't see. Let me just do some work with her. This means turn around. What, Rocky? So she's all, this means come forward. Nice. Anybody want to take a guess what the tap on her chest is? I'm gonna bring her over here. Yeah, right here. There you go. Now I'm gonna ask her to sit. There's the tap on the chest. We've been doing a lot of different tricks. This is what she does every morning. We're gonna wake her up. She likes her belly rubs. Always hug her butt, because she does not like her head hugged. What do you think, Sam? Sam's like, why am I not getting out of the cage? Sit. So you something new. I have not trained this with her in a long time, and it's not solid yet. Nice. You're getting silly. She wants to play. Let's get some play out of the way real quick. This is what I do with her when I want to play. Throw her butt. That'll get her excited. Let me put her in her crate real quick. Or, you know what? I'll just start off showing you some. We taught her to fetch. She's quick. So this is hard because I'm trying to keep her on screen. I'll let go. And then she's got to find me. Let's see if I can get her going a different direction so she has to find me. So you tell me this is not a happy puppy. She's got her arm caught in one of the holes. Now I'm gonna, this is something we've had to work on. Snow's been with us not quite 2 years. November she'll be with us 2 years, I believe. I believe it was November. Maybe it was late October. But anyways, the other dogs were not accepting of her. We had to teach it and train it. So I'm going to see if I can pull in my deaf bulldog. Ooh, you okay, baby? Nice. Levi's like, I'm really not into playing this. That's it. That's it. So a room full of parrots is a great place for deaf dogs. What do you think, Sam? Nice job. Nice. So our bridge for Levi is a thumbs up. Let me put Snow in her crate real quick. Because she's... How are you? Levi, come. Hang on, I'll be right back on screen. Reinforcing for here, let's see if please. What do you think, Rob? What? Okay, because I'm going to get Sam out for you guys too in just a second. So, good morning. Anyways, Snow, our deaf and blind dog that you just saw, I'm going to show you some pictures of her, some puppy pictures. Good morning, Jeannie. Hey, everybody. Yeah, so Snow, I had no intention of getting Snow. I was looking for... Hi, Hi. I was looking for another deaf dog to train. And I was wanting to bring a deaf dog in, train it at no charge, and then adopt it straight out into a family. Rocky, one of my girlfriends from Maryland, Pam Hennessy, knew of a deaf and blind. Hi, Rock. I knew of a deaf and blind puppy down in North Carolina. No intentions. I saw this puppy picture, and I told my husband, "Look at this." He goes, "When are we going to get her?" And I was like, "Next weekend." So these are some of Snow's puppy pictures. Let's see what else we have. This was a picture of the morning after we picked her up. We ended up staying halfway overnight in West Virginia, and this was my first time taking her out in the morning to go to the bathroom. Hi, Rocky. Yeah, hi, Rocky. So I was told about Snow, so why would I want to go adopt a deaf and blind dog, and why would I want to drive all the way to North Carolina to get it? Because we live in Northwest Ohio. How are you? Never heard that one before. You're fine? Are you fine? What? I definitely want to reinforce that tone of voice. You're full of it this morning, Rock. What? Coco. So I will talk to you about, yes, Daphne, absolutely. That's not the only reason, but Daphne hit the nail on the head. It makes you a better trainer. We're all training, whether you realize it or not. It's just, what are you training? So Snow has made me think. What? Snow has made me think outside the box. How do you teach a recall to a dog that cannot see and cannot hear? How do you get the behaviors that I just asked? Snow knows every inch of this center, every room, the backyard, both backyards, the inside of the house, the upstairs, the downstairs, the front porch, and she learned it very quick. And where I started with her was in the hotel room that first night. I took her, I think she was 11 weeks old when I got her. And I remember Rocky taking kibble and just dropping it on the floor around her. Rocky, and caused her to start searching for her food. And then every day for several weeks, for months, "What are you doing, Rocky?" I tried to incorporate something new into her daily environment. That is so important. That's one of the things I think is so important. You guys have seen on my personal Facebook page, my Laura Joseph page, everything I'm doing every single day with Sam. A lot of it's the same stuff. He's only been here, 8 days? But he's already has a recall. He's starting to forage. He's going to a station. He's a fully flighted blind parrot. So we're going to talk about him in a minute. But just keep him used to something changing every single day. Don't let me forget to tell you how I moved him in here yesterday. But back to Snow. Good morning, Nancy from Key West. Snow learns. Hi, Rocky. I have so many videos of her, watching her learn her environment. Sorry, I'm going to get my co-host back on here. Watching her in her environment. And she'll go in circles, and then she starts expanding those circles. It's like she starts with, here's a corner, here's a wall, here's a wall, and she'll start doing circles, and she'll make those circles bigger and bigger, and then she goes back and checks in where she started, and then she just keeps expanding that. It's amazing to see. But one thing I didn't do with her that I wish I would have done right from the get-go was train her to walk on a leash. I didn't start training that until later. but I had a hard time because she didn't like her head touched. So there was a lot of desensitization that I had to do with her. Rocky's probably going to scream for a little bit, so bear with me. There was a lot of desensitization I had to do to her head, her mouth, her eyes. She doesn't have an eye in one socket. The other one is partially developed, so I need to check her eyes. Hey, Natasha, she says, I'm a newly board certified BCBA, board certified behavior analyst, also in Northwest Ohio. I would love to learn to work with animals. This is all so exciting. Natasha, if you're a BCBA here in Northwest Ohio, I bet you we know a lot of the same people. Let me know if you know Joel Vidovic over at the Autism Model School. We collaborate with them. Their students come in here at the center. And the whole staff at the Autism Model School has been here for workshops. It's great. Anyways, okay, so with Snow, working with the deaf and the blind, like Daphne said, makes you a better trainer, makes you a better educator, you understand better. These animals adapt so well. Snow is constantly searching for information. You will see her starting to spin. Me personally, that just makes me nervous watching her do that, because it looks like she's searching for information and she's not getting feedback from her environment. So as soon as I touch her, you will see the ears go down, the tail starts wagging, and she searches for you for, it's like she's saying, will you please just do something with me? Hey, Amy, you're on here. There's Amy over at the Autism Model School. I just bought my AMS attire yesterday, Amy. Daphne says this is an area that needs to be taught to animal professionals. Yeah. And here's the key. We use applied behavior analysis and positive reinforcement on all the animals here. We have numerous different species of animals. I was just at a zoo training some alligators, a giraffe, some raptors. I can't remember what else the other day. It's not that force, aversives, coercion don't work. They do work. If they didn't work, we wouldn't use them. The thing is they come with their consequences. I am not going to use any type of an aversive. With an alligator. I'm not going to do it with the turkey vulture in the other room. There's Snow playing with her foraging toy. What was that? What do you think, Sam? Sam's sitting right beside me. I'm going to get him out of his cage. Show you how I work with a blind Amazon. There he is. There's Sam. I'm going to get him out here in just a second, so bear with me. I would not want to use any type of aversive training with Snow. That would break her spirit. She would start shutting down, and I don't want to see what type of abnormal repetitive behavior she starts to develop. You use those types of aversives here with a lot of the exotics. I like to train exotic animals for several different reasons. And one of the reasons is, oh boy, one of the reasons is the message is so powerful. I may be able to force the turkey vulture to do something once. And then she's going to learn real fast, and she's going to start using ABA on me. She's going to start using environmental events to control behavior with me, which would probably send me running very fast. I'm trying to pay attention to what you guys are saying as we're talking. Okay, Daphne says yes. Daphne's a dog trainer in Washington. I worked with a deaf-blind Aussie. He would circle, which was excessive. He was lost and miserable. Yeah, and they don't have to be. Hey, here's another professional dog trainer. There's Sylvia. You don't need an aversive if you know how positive reinforcement works. Rocky. It's beautifully well said. So if you want, I'm going to show you some of my work with Sam. This will be one of the first times he's been out of the cage in this room. I have to be very careful. I will probably stop talking to the, thank you, Rocky. I will probably stop talking to the camera because my focus is going to be on him. And Sylvia making her comment about how, Rocky, how positive, peekaboo, how positive reinforcers work. For people that say positive reinforcement doesn't work, do not understand. Positive reinforcers are always determined by the individual. Hey, Rock, always determined by the individual, as well as punishers, aversives. What else was I going to say? What, Rocky? Oh, and here, we only use food as positive reinforcers probably 45% of the time. Let me show you an example with Sam, but let me just go ahead and do that. Hi, Rocky. So my lips are going to be sealed. If you guys want to see more, I've been posting photos and videos daily over on my personal page. What you think, Rico? Hi, Rico. He's sleeping, I can tell. Watch my use and my direction of my voice. Jeez. Sam will bite me in a heartbeat. Recall. Good. Let's go back in your cage. Okay, so that may not look like much, but I just called him out of his cage and back into his cage twice. Before a week ago, he did not know that. He hadn't been out of his cage at the rescue for 2 years, and understandably so. He's a fully flighted blind Amazon who just had his eyes removed due to ulcers on the eyes. He can do so much more than that. But within the past week, thanks, Rock. Within the past week, I have taught him recall. So I started with, he's acting a little nervous this morning. And those of you that have been watching my daily progress with him, I don't know if you can tell, but when he was coming out, him just how he was moving around on that platform, how fast and back and forth, standing in position. To me, I wasn't seeing that in the past week in the other room. So it could be he hasn't even been in here 24 hours. This is a lot to take on. And you get a deaf and blind dog walking around. I've got to be careful. And this is one of the things I was thinking about since 2:30 this morning, since I couldn't sleep. I cannot let Snow bump that table. Snow bumps the table because she can't see. If she bumps the table that Sam is on, she's probably going to start knocking Sam off balance. And this room can be a very scary place for Sam to be because he doesn't understand what's going on. This is where I've got to use applied behavior analysis, using environmental events to control behavior. We have a big pin over here. Thought about putting Sam inside the pin, so that way no animal can knock up against his cage. When the pig comes in here, he roots around on the floor. He will move tables, anything to get to food. He cannot touch that table. I've made so much progress with Sam in the past week. I definitely don't want to go backwards. If this room is not right for Sam, Sam can go wherever he wants. So I've also taught Sam a station, which is this perch. So I bring Sam out and he stations on this perch. What's really cool is he's starting to go there on his own now. I no longer have to guide him. I use my voice. And the more I sit here and talk, he'll follow my voice. Because ever since I picked him up a week ago last Wednesday, I have paired myself with nothing other than positives. I have a week long of those conditioned reinforcers built. I don't want to punish them. Right, Sam? What do you think, Sam? You're such a good boy. I'm just talking. Hey, Sam. Hi. Hi. How are you? Hello? 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 See if he'll do it for me. He did it for Kendall. I don't know if did you guys see the video I posted of volunteer Kendall Jukala saying hello to him? Adrian says, can you put an X pin around the table? Yeah, I can. I still got to think because the X pin is right there. And I'm thinking, just pick this up and stick it in the X pin. The only bad thing is we use both of these. We use that pin and we use the X pin to move a lot of my work because I have so many different species of animals. A lot of my work is just shifting animals, moving from point A to point B. And we do that, they all want to do. Hi, Rocky. What we ask them. So, yeah, if you want to see the video of Sam saying hello, go over and take a look at my personal page. But there is such quality of life here. Let me skip forward because I'll tell you a story about Sam. I still have some things to tell you about Snow. But here's Sam when he still had eyes. That was a little over a month ago. He had, like I said, Sam is 23 years old, but I think he's a lot older than that. He had his eyes removed because ulcers. so he couldn't see anyways. And the rescue, Jeannie Gilligan and the staff out there were having to capture Sam 3 times a day to put the eye drops in. So Jeannie and the veterinarian just said, we don't need to do this. He can't see anyways. And I think Jeannie said the ulcers were causing him pain. So they made appointments to, there's Jeannie Gilligan. They made appointments to have his eyes removed with the vet at the, he's ringing his bell. With the vet at the, I think it's Animal Eye Care Institute of New Jersey. And they removed his first eye back in May, and they removed his second eye in August. And here's the vet working with him, and she did a beautiful job. She did a great job. Hey, Brigitta from Portugal. So there they removed the eye. Oh, and then that's Levi. So they did a great job with him. And when I first met Sam, that is a picture I took back in July. But I saw so much potential. I remember talking to Jeannie and I said, what's the deal with this guy? Did I want another Amazon? No, I didn't. But she showed me that she said all he does is sit here next to his bell. But she said, if you open this food dish door, he will come over and boom, down he goes. And that's when I said, oh, if he can do that, we've got potential. And he can do so much more. So did I know I was going to use? I'm using his bell as a lure and a reinforcer. And when I first met Sam, he had no use for me because he didn't know me. And so what I did was started pairing myself and started petting him with his bell. So he was able to feel the bell on him, but only by his choice. Now the bell is moving. And then I paired that bell, started blowing on him. That's the same thing I did with Snow, our deaf and blind border collie. That's how I started recall. I would blow as soon as they feel that air movement, boom, bridge, reinforce. With Snow, a bridge is a tap on her chest. With Sam, because he can hear, I can use a verbal bridge, which is GOOD. So that's how I start a recall. With Levi, I say maybe we start doing some. There he is, ringing his bell. Let me see if he wants to come out again before I get the dogs back out. I had to desensitize the sound of opening the cage, because I could clearly tell he got nervous when the cage came open. What are you doing? I don't have anything to get. He wants to snap peas and we're out because he ate them all. Does that taste good? Does that taste good? Yeah. I'm just talking to him so he knows where I am. So I do plan on getting him out today after coffee with the critters. I'm going to take a step back in my training because even when he came out just now, I see a little nervousness. Hi. So we're going to be jamming to some Patsy Cline, Frank Sinatra today. He wants to come back out. He wants to come back out, but that's where I'm going to start like, what? I'm really going to take a step back in my training with him. Because if you have to move yourself or the animal, and if they have to move themselves in a new position, you're training a whole new behavior. And a lot of times that's where we get stuck, is we clump things like, he should already know this. Well, he does know it in a quiet room. He doesn't necessarily, I'm going to have to reshape it here because I can tell there's still some nervousness there that second time he came out. So I'm going to reshape this and just take a step back and do some things that he was very familiar with that I trained in the other room. And then maybe later, I bet you he warms up very quickly the more I train him. Because what I did with him yesterday, he did come out a little bit, but I pretty much just left him in his cage because I wanted him to get used to the sounds. Because he got to hear the dogs barking in here. He got to hear the other birds. But I'll tell you this, the more I train him, the faster he's going to be more comfortable. I see that with all my animals. And that is, I empower through training, and that is the only reason I train. I've always had a love for animals. I like giving them choice, control, and increased complexities in their environment. I like to empower them. And Sam's a great candidate for that. He's a rock star. Yes, Leanne, and get more snap peas. I left my husband a note this morning. It says, we need more fruits and vegetables for the birds and more treats for the dogs. Snap peas for Sam. Stat. He hasn't had snap peas in a couple days. Okay, so let me first finish some of the stories. When I was talking about the more I train, the more comfortable the animal is. So I'm just watching in the viewfinder. The behavior of him coming down is definitely increasing, so something's reinforcing it. And I see he's not really eating a lot. Maybe it's because the direction where my voice is. Right, Sam? What do you think, Sam? What? Yeah, that's not your bell. So what's really cool with Sam is he comes in the direction where I am now just by hearing my voice. He starts walking to me in a calm manner, searching for information, searching for interaction. Yesterday when I power washed this cage, so I had to get him out. I had to get him in his crate. I've still been crate training him since he's been here. I think probably at least once a day. I put the crate up here when the lip is down, and I put the crate just like this. Like this at the edge, and then I start calling him to me. And he's following my voice, so I'm using my voice as a lure. And then I move him around and take him back. and ask him to step off. I've been doing that probably once every other day. So then yesterday, when it was time to power wash his cage, I asked him, I tipped the crate sideways, asked him to come in. He went in, went right to his perch, rock and roll, went right to his perch, and then that's how I brought him in here. What make of crate is that? I don't know. I want to say it's called Precision. Those are my favorite types of crates to start crate training because it's just wire and the animal can see all around them. But what I was going to say, the more I train, the more I see them really want more training. They want that mental and physical interaction. They want that mental and physical enrichment. So this is something we were doing recently. Let me give you a bigger shot of this with Snow. Do you guys remember this? I've got the other two dogs in their crate while I'm teaching Snow to put all four paws on a climb. Remember that? Now this is a dog that cannot see and cannot hear. So all my cues with her were tactile, touching her. When Sam says, when giving Sam treats, do you tap his beak with food to let him know it's there? No, because I think he would find that inaversive. Nancy, what I do is I blow in his direction, the direction that I want him to come. And as soon as he gets to the point where I want him to be, I'll bridge. And then I think I put it right in the side of his mouth so he can go like this and grab it. I don't know. I'd have to do it again to see exactly what I do. But what I'm doing now to start to desensitize, I want to be able to pick this bird up. If I touched him right now or his feet, he would nail me in a heartbeat, and he would I know he would attack my fingers. So what I'm doing is every time I hand him a treat, I'm now starting to touch his beak to slowly start desensitizing. I'm slowly starting to touch his feet. So we'll see. Kisses. Thanks, Rock. So with Snow, I could teach the behavior. What up, Rock? I could teach the behavior of her stepping onto the climb. Tickle, tickle, what? But then for her to step off of it, she has to trust me. That's either 8 inches step down, or she could think she's stepping off the side of the world, all right? So she has to put trust in me and training. And I trained this to get her used to change, to build confidence, and also to really fine-tune our interaction with each other. So when I take her out to different places, when I ask her to step down the stairs, she'll already know, oh, that's what you want me to do. And I do keep asking her to come forward. It really builds a lot of strength. So let's do some work with Levi. So Melissa, if you're still on here, because there's a big difference between training. Hi, Rocky baby. The three things that I'm getting ready to talk. There's a difference between training blind, totally different, and training deaf, totally different, and training deaf and blind. So blind, a lot of my cues are audible, rock and roll. Deaf, a lot of my cues are visual. Deaf and blind, a lot of my cues, rock and roll, a lot of my cues are touch. I very rarely use scent with her. I probably could to do some more enrichment work. But you can't tell me you don't see quality of life here. All right. Working with the blind. Okay. The one that I find least challenging for me is working with the deaf. And then I would say working with the blind is a little different, more escalated, because working with the deaf, they can still see you. You can give a lot of information via sight. He's going to start screaming. Bear with me. It'll get really loud for probably about 30 seconds. It's going to have an extinction burst, and then it's going to go away. I hope I'm wrong. Meaning that it doesn't happen at all. So working with the blind, good boy, working with the blind, the sight is gone. So I find it a little more challenging, but I like the challenge. It's very enriching for me. Working with the deaf and blind is probably going to be the more challenging for different people. Thanks, Shelley. And okay, so let me talk about working with the deaf. And I highly support Deaf Dogs Rocks. You can find them at deafdogsrock.com. Christina Lee and her husband. I do some guest blogging for them. She just asked me to write about the deaf and the blind yesterday, so I've got it on my schedule for this Friday to write an article. I do write for them for the deaf. For me, I don't find working with the deaf, I think it's fun. Small challenges, but it's all visual. And I'll do some live training with you here real quick. But I wanted to tell you real quick, here's Levi. Remember, has anybody, Rocky, anybody on here remember when we brought Levi in? That was 5 years ago, this New Year's Eve. Oh, yeah. I think he was 10 weeks old. The breeder contacted me, and she said she thought she was going to have to put him down because he was deaf and she didn't want him to fall in the wrong hands. And I said, I'm not looking for a dog, a deaf bulldog. I'm not looking for, I just got Quincy, our Rottweiler. And so Daphne, you do remember that was 5 years ago. And I said, will you just relinquish him to me? Sign him over to me. And she said, absolutely. So we brought him in, trained him, found him a home in Kansas, and he was going to go right back out, but they chose not to adopt him because of the heat. So here's Levi when he first came to us. And yeah, if there's one thing I wish I would have never trained him, and I trained him this because I thought it was for safety measures. We live on a very busy street. We live on one of the busiest streets in the city of Toledo. And you go out the front door, you've probably got about 150 feet before you hit that road. And I'm thinking, all right, I got a deaf bulldog here. I need a rock solid recall. And I need, in case he ever got out, I want him to start looking for human feet. I wish I never trained that because I trained it for a very short time, but because I trained it real consistency for the first couple weeks of his life here, now instead of one of the first things he does, instead of making eye contact, which is what I want, he will stare at your feet. So then I got to put my finger down here and bring his eyes up here, watch him when I bring him out. Okay, so I did take him to puppy socialization classes. We had a lot of fun. We still have a lot of fun. And yeah, there's such quality of life there. Okay, back to puppy socialization class. Quincy and Levi both went to puppy socialization classes at Assistance Dogs for Developing Independence because I was I took in some of their dogs here to train. Their dogs would come here to the center to train. My dogs would go there just to learn different things, different environments. Anyways, there he was when he was a pup. Did a lot of vet prep. Here I'm doing match to sample with him. I'd show him a tennis ball, and I'd have 3 objects on the board in front of me. I should get that back out and start doing that with them again. They loved it. I'd show him a tennis ball and say I had a spoon, a tennis ball, and a plastic cone on that board. He had to touch the tennis ball. If I showed a tennis ball, he had to touch the tennis ball. He loved it. He loved it. Animals, studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. I don't need any studies to tell me that here. I know, it shows. That's why I train. And here we're just doing, see him looking at me? He's looking at me asking, is this the behavior you want? What I'm teaching him right there is a foot target. When you touch your foot to this, let's do some training. Good things fall from the sky, from my hands. Melissa, are you still on here? Let's do some deaf dog training. Watch Levi when he comes out. Oh, let me get his picture off here. Watch Levi when he comes out. He's going to start focusing on my feet. Where's his eyes? Where do I want him? Up here. So as soon as he gets up, bridge. What do you think, Sam? Coco! Okay, now watch where his eyes are. His eyes are on my feet. Where do I want him? Right there. So we've been really reinforcing eye contact, because if Levi gets out, and I do walk him off leash in very protected areas, but I trained him as a pup to stay by my side, to do a target. These are all focus and control exercises. I don't have a lot of room here. Eye contact. If he's looking at my eyes, I can tell him what I want him to do next. If he's looking at my eyes, I can ask him to start a recall. I'm going to show you a trick that I trained him one night while I was relaxing on a Saturday night, watching a movie, having a scotch, eating some popcorn, watching a scary movie. I trained him to bark. I want eye contact, guys. Melissa, if you're still watching. Okay, so let's do something I've never done with him before. Not really. I do train him to go to the vet, but I've never, oh man, where is it? It must be in the other room. Got it. So I've got an object. He has no clue what I'm going to do. He stayed. Don't forget to bridge and reinforce. Okay? I'm going to pretend like this is a stethoscope. It's actually my vulture, key to one of my vulture's cages. So I do not want him following this with his mouth, his eyes. And he's not comfortable with that. Rocky, I made too big of a move. So I'm going to go back to where he was comfortable. And then this means, yeah, you did a good job, and I kind of do a little dance in there, but I'll do something like, okay. You see how thrilled he is? Hi, Rocky. So, yeah. And like Daphne was saying, I train for a wildlife rehabilitation center as well. And you want to fine tune your training skills, train there. Yeah, and I wanted to show you, keep your animals used to change. I want to show you a couple pictures that I didn't show. And if that animal can see, hear, or smell you, you're training whether you realize it or not. The key question is, what are you training? So here's Snow in the house. This is when she was first learning to climb up and down the stairs. This is an animal that cannot see and cannot hear. So she is putting all this trust into our training. Here she is at the vet a couple of months ago. And when we were in the office, I was just doing all kinds of things. Sit, turn, come. Have not taught her to bark on cue yet, but I should. I would find it fun. Here she is socializing with a couple other dogs, Cash and Levi. One thing that I can find somewhat challenging with the deaf and the blind is that the other animals do not understand why she doesn't respond to their visual body language, okay? I see that make a lot of different animals nervous. I have seen that. I've seen that with dogs. I've seen it with the different, hey Sandy, animals here. So it's not that they're, go ahead. It's not that there isn't quality of life. There is. Just train them. They'll thank you for it. And see if there's any more pictures I had to show. Just going to see, did anybody have any questions? It's a stimulus you need to condition. Hey, Wes, good to see you on here. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, so, okay, good, Melissa, you did see all that. That's how you train a rock-solid recall with a deaf animal, all right? Get that eye contact and make it very strong. And we can talk about this at sailing on Wednesday night. Okay, for those of you that are new, if you want to find out more information about what we do, you can visit our website at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can always reach me at laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. And a couple of things, we always have our projects and our memberships here if you want to learn more about how to do this. Something I want to say, if you're interested in working with deaf or blind, or you're interested in working with parrots, pigs, zoo animals, what have you, we have webinars on our website of all different kinds, even ones just about working with animals in particular, understanding behavior. We have webinars on enrichment, all kinds of things. We also have our projects and our memberships. Our membership's a little more intense for people wanting to understand how to use applied behavior analysis with animals. We have our 2-day workshop coming up really quick in less than a month now with me and Dr. Deb Jones, all species training workshop. So there's 4 seats left in that. Still offering the snappy sessions. Beth, I may offer those again at a later date, but right now I think we're just going to focus on our website or our webinars for now. So yeah, if you haven't and you want to, you can sign up for our email newsletter list. If you are on your desktop right now and you look to the left, you will see join our newsletter list. I always give great information that goes out every 2 weeks. And as soon as this live stream is done, I will be going in and working on the next one. Don't forget, we have this every Sunday morning. I remember a couple of weeks ago when I interviewed the girls from Long Island. Let me get my website off of there. Rescue Road Trips. They have agreed to do a live stream interview with me. And so that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. Other than that, I do believe that's all I have for the day. It is 10 o'clock a.m. here on the Eastern time zone. So everybody enjoy. For those of you that got up from Central and Western and overseas, thank you. I know Blorian, you're on here from, I believe it's Thailand. Blorian is a very avid follower of ours, and she shares all of our stuff in their own language. So thank you guys, and I will see you next Sunday on Coffee with the Critters. I've got a blind parrot to train. All right, see you guys. If you have any, you're very welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. All right, thanks, Susie. See you guys.